Welcome to the Introduction to EDGE webinar. Today's presentation will be delivered by Vesela Valcheva-McGee. I'm Managing Partner of Triple Green Building Group, an education partner to the U.S. Green Building Council, an EDGE auditor, and a LEED fellow. I've been working with green building certification for over 10 years in the United States and internationally.
And I'm Dror Carney. I'm Senior Director for Market Transformation and Development at the U.S. Green Building Council. GBCI, or Green Business Certification, Inc., is a subsidiary of ours, and I lead our EDGE Global program on behalf of GBCI.
I'm Vijaya Yelam. Hi, good morning. I'm Vijaya Yelam-Raju. I'm the Director of Quality at GBCI, and I oversee the quality of all our certification programs. Specifically, I help manage the EDGE program on the certification side. My background is in architecture and sustainability, and prior to joining GBCI, I worked as a green building lead consultant.
International Finance Corporation, or IFC, is a member of the World Bank Group, created EDGE to address the challenges facing emerging markets. EDGE is a green building certification system focused on making buildings more resource efficient. EDGE enables design teams and project owners to assess the most cost-effective ways to incorporate energy and water-saving options into their buildings. EDGE applies to new construction, existing buildings, and major renovations of multiple building types that are located in over 140 countries. Homes, including single-family homes, townhouses, condominiums, apartment buildings, and other residential buildings, used primarily as dwellings for natural persons, including families. Retail, including shopping centers, supermarkets, malls, standalone stores, light industry, and warehouses. Hotels, including hotels, motels, inns, beds and breakfasts, and resorts. Offices, including any size office and commercial building. Hospitals, including private and public hospitals, clinics, multi-specialty hospitals, eye and dental clinics and hospitals, and finally, education, including schools, universities, kindergartens, preschools, and sports facilities. EDGE can be used for mixed-use buildings, which may encompass two or more of these building types, such as a building with retail on the ground floor and multiple floors of office space above. IFC plans to expand the number of applicable building types over time as demand increases. You can check edgebuildings.com for any updates. EDGE is made up of three components. The first component is the free web-based EDGE software. Using the free web-based EDGE software at edgebuildings.com, design teams and project owners can quickly evaluate and compare estimated costs for design strategies targeting reductions in energy use, water use, and embodied energy and materials. The EDGE software has contextual data for different cities, including local codes, construction practices, utility costs, and climate. The savings are specific to a project location, as the baseline varies according to the city selected. This overall picture of performance helps to construct a compelling business case for building green. We will now do a brief demonstration of the EDGE software. There are 5 building types which can be certified with EDGE. Today, we will design a resource-efficient office building. First, you must enter the fields that are required to save your project. Those fields are marked with an asterisk. Then you can choose your country and your city. EDGE has climate and cost data for hundreds of cities around the world. Enter building data for your project, such as the number of floors and the way that it will be used by occupants. For the space allocation, you can always accept the defaults if you don't know the exact information at early design stage. You can adjust building orientation and ensure that the building systems are accurately reflected. And if you click on Advanced Settings, you will see the key assumptions for the base case of your building type. Default assumptions are made for fuel types and costs, which can be edited to meet specific project parameters or left with the default settings. Now that we've designed our base case building, we will move on to the energy section and start to create our resource-efficient building. In order to meet the EDGE standard, the project requires 20% less use in energy, water, and embodied energy and materials. Our project base case, which is shown right here, reflects the energy use before any selections have been made. The improved case will change as we make decisions. The difference between the base case and the improved case must reach 20% to achieve the energy standard. Let's choose energy saving measures in order to compare the positive impacts instantly. We are going to choose some simple strategies: an insulated roof and external walls, some natural ventilation, and some energy-saving light bulbs. You can see right away, right here, the extra cost to build green and the payback period before your building is only saving you money that you otherwise wouldn't have had. The colors in the chart correlate to the energy consumption breakdown of the building, as well as to the colors of the energy-saving measures. We have reached our target of 20% improvements by selecting our energy efficiency measures. Now, we will move on to the water section. Let's choose a few practical solutions to ensure that our building conserves water better than the typical building. We're going to pick low-flow faucets in bathrooms and dual flush water closets. At any point, you can check on your results up here, including how far you've lowered your utility bills per month. You can also see the projected energy and water use, as well as the reduced harm to the environment. We've met the requirements for water, and we will now go to materials. This area focuses on the energy that has gone into making the building materials. Change the defaults by selecting from the drop-downs, and you can lower the embodied energy in materials. If you want to know more, you may click on a measure to see some tool tips. you may click on More Information for a deeper level of information in the User Guide, which provides guidance on how to achieve each measure. Now we are going to save our project. And we also have the option of downloading a PDF with all of our entered information. Taking a moment. Our building is ready to certify.
So the second component of EDGE after the software is the new Global Green Building Standard. In order to meet the EDGE standard, projects need to demonstrate 20% savings in predicted energy use, 20% savings in predicted water use, and a 20% reduction in embodied energy of materials as benchmarked to the local baseline. And the third component of EDGE is the certification system. EDGE certification allows you to unlock substantial value. It reduces investor risk, attracts customers, and makes a statement of corporate excellence and environmental responsibility. Certification makes it much easier to promote your building to those that wish to own, rent, or work in a green building, or even those who just want to save money on their utility bills. And uniquely for residential buildings, EDGE certificates list the individual flats and homes that are certified, so it's easy for a developer or owner to show potential home buyers and renters their predicted utility savings. So how do you certify your project? Let's start with the key roles and responsibilities in the EDGE certification process. The developer or owner, along with their project team, which hopefully includes an EDGE expert, will use the EDGE software to help identify the best sustainable strategies for the project and complete a self-assessment to determine whether the project meets the EDGE standard. They will then register their project with GBCI at edge.gbci.org and prepare and submit the supporting documentation for review by the EDGE auditor. The next role in the certification process is that of the EDGE auditor. The EDGE auditor is a third-party, impartial reviewer who determines whether the measures implemented by the project meet the requirements of the EDGE standard. The EDGE auditor will review the documentation submitted by the project team, perform a site visit to confirm that the project meets the requirements of the EDGE standard, and then submit their recommendation to the EDGE certification provider, which is GBCI in this case. The EDGE auditor usually contracts directly with the developer or owner. GBCI will then review the auditor's recommendations and issue a preliminary certificate after the design audit and a final EDGE certificate after the construction audit. As an EDGE certification provider, GBCI will also train, license, and monitor EDGE auditors and also quality assure the entire process. So let's quickly walk through what this looks like in a timeline view. So there's the owner along with the project team and EDGE expert registering the project and completing the self-assessment in the EDGE tool during the design phase. The EDGE auditor does a design audit, which is a documentation review, and then sends their certification recommendation to GBCI for quality control. GBCI would issue a preliminary certificate after a successful quality control. After construction, the EDGE auditor does a site audit and then sends their certification recommendation to GBCI for QC. GBCI would issue a final EDGE certificate after a successful QC. Note that existing buildings may skip the design review.
EDGE can help architects, engineers, and green building consultants grow their green building business by adding another service offering and revenue stream. EDGE enables engagement with developers and owners that are new to green building and with certain market sectors that have been difficult to penetrate with existing green building rating systems. While you do not need any formal training to offer EDGE services as part of a project team, and you can begin taking EDGE to the market and clients immediately, you will want to consider earning your EDGE expert credential. Here are the top benefits of earning your EDGE expert credential. Add to your professional achievements with accreditation by IFC, a member of the World Bank Group. Get listed on IFC's website for EDGE. Stay competitive in the market. Expand your business and services. Attract new clients. An EDGE expert is a professional that helps a developer, owner, and larger project team understand the EDGE standard, software, and certification system. The scope of the EDGE expert's work includes advice on green design and assistance with preparation of an application for EDGE certification and help to complete calculations, compile documentation, and manage the overall process up to certification. There are 3 steps to become an EDGE expert: meeting eligibility, completing training, and taking the EDGE exam. The first step is meeting the eligibility requirements. Lead APs are pre-qualified. Otherwise, you must have a higher education qualification in a construction industry-related field or 3 years of experience working in the construction industry as a skilled professional or tradesperson and a higher education qualification, not necessarily in a construction industry-related field. These are the acceptable construction industry roles for those without a construction-related higher education or lead AP. There is no application to become an EDGE expert. Instead, it is a self-declaration by candidates when they take the EDGE exam. Training is required before you can sit for the EDGE exam. So your next step is to complete GBCI's EDGE Technical Workshop. The workshop covers the basics of EDGE, the certification process, and how to use the EDGE software. It also prepares EDGE expert candidates to take the EDGE exam. The next EDGE Technical Workshop will be offered in Kiev, Ukraine on September 20th, 2018. The workshop will be offered at the IFC office in Kiev. The cost is €105, and you may register at the link below. An email with the link will be sent to everybody after the webinar. Other upcoming EDGE technical workshops include a workshop in Sofia, Bulgaria, to be specifically announced sometime in October. The cost will also be €105. And if you're interested in hosting a live EDGE technical workshop in your area, please contact Dror Carney at the email on the screen. And again, you will receive his contact information additionally in an email which everyone will receive after the webinar. You will receive instructions on how to sign up for the exam after successfully completing the training. The EDGE exam is administered by Prometric, a third-party testing center. The test can be taken at one of their testing centers or even your home or office. It currently costs $100 US. The EDGE exam is administered via computer and consists of 75 multiple-choice questions with a 2.5-hour limit. All exams are closed book. The exam is currently available in English, Chinese, Spanish, Vietnamese, and Indonesian Bahasa.
EDGE is an easy choice. It's a free and easy-to-use investment planning tool that quickly calculates the ROI for your green building strategies. Use EDGE to quickly project and report your energy, water, and greenhouse gas emission savings. EDGE's advanced database understands your local climatic conditions and building usage. All efficiency simulations are built into the simple platform, and certification can be achieved through your already existing documentation. EDGE certification is globally recognized and backed by the World Bank Group. GBCI can quickly certify your project at a modest cost. GBCI provides its EDGE customers with trusted quality certification, award-winning customer service, best-in-class marketing and promotion support, and comprehensive education resources. GBCI offers EDGE certification across the globe in the countries shown in green on this map. Get started today at edge.gbci.org. We're happy to answer any questions you may have. If you'd like to go ahead and type those into the chat box. Again, please type any questions you have into the chat box. We're not able to unmute you on this webinar. Okay. So one person is asking about the EDGE auditor position. GBCI does recruit and train EDGE auditors. You can find out more about that at our website, which is shown on the screen right now, edge.gbci.org. In a nutshell, you have to be an EDGE expert first, and then you submit an application again through our website. You would take a training, which we plan to offer later this year online, and then you would sign an agreement with GBCI, and there's a modest annual maintenance fee of $75 a year. As an auditor for GBCI, you can audit projects located in any of the countries where GBCI certifies projects. Again, that list can be found on edge.gbci.org. Okay. We've been asked if the measures for energy efficiency are built into the EDGE software.
George, do you want me to answer that?
Sure.
Yes, the measures for energy efficiency are built into the EDGE software, but you have to select the actual measures that are applicable to your building. When you make your selections that are specific to your building, the EDGE software in the energy tab that we looked at will show you the comparison between the base case scenario created by the software using default settings for the actual project location to your proposed design. Does that answer the question?
Yep.
George, do you want to add something to that?
No, I think you got it. So the beauty of EDGE is that the energy efficiency measures, their effect on the building, are built into the software.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a requirement to actually achieve the projected 20% savings after construction in order to keep the EDGE certificate?
Yes.
So you will be required to have continuing reporting after earning the EDGE certificate, but it will not be revoked because that certificate is based on the projected savings, based on really the asset what the building actually has in place. Okay, we have another question. Does the Edge software get updates? Vijaya, I'm going to let you answer this one because there is a schedule.
Yes. Yeah. So the Edge software does get updated. So there are what they call IFC calls minor updates and major updates. So they're always making minor updates, which is adding new material types, or if they see some minor bugs, they get fixed. So those are considered minor updates, and those happen more on a periodic basis, like once in a month or once in a quarter. But then a major change happens when there is a significant amount of update that's needed, and then they release a new version. So if they're adding a new building typology, or if there's like a significant update done to the cost database or something to that effect, then there would be an update, and that happens once in like 3 years or something like that.
Okay. And Vijaya, one more for you. Can you describe the type of supporting documentation required for certification?
Yeah, so there is supporting documentation required for the different measures that you're attempting in the software, and that documentation list is included within the software as well as in the user guides, which are kind of like your reference guides for the entire building typology. So there is a list, and documents are required at both the design stage as well as the construction stage. And examples would be, at the design stage, you would, for, say, there's a measure for the window to wall ratio, you would need to provide calculations, you would need to provide, the building elevations or the facade drawings, manufacturer documentation, cut sheets, things like that. So that list is included within the software as well as within the user guides.
Okay. During the assessment process, are projects located in the country that the assessment comes from taken into consideration in order for the simulation to run?
I think I understand what that. Do you?
Yeah, go ahead then.
If I understand the question correctly, whatever location you place in the Edge software when building the profile of your building project, that is the data that the software will load in terms of energy costs and types, water utility costs. So the Edge software is always calculating your improvements based specifically on project location as you have input that into the software. So does that answer the question?
Yeah, I think you got it. Is access to the Edge software free for all interested parties, or is it only available for Edge certified experts? The Edge software is available for free. You can try it out now. You actually don't even have to log in unless you want to save the project at edgebuildings.com. We had another question about the typical fees for auditors. Sorry, Vijaya, do you want to answer that one?
Yeah, so the Edge auditors are contracted with the project owner directly. There is an agreement between GBCI and the Edge auditors as far as the protocols and the processes that they need to follow. But for an individual project, the project owner can look up a list of auditors that is available on our website according to their location. and contract with them directly. And the fees are, market driven. It's really based on, what the auditor charges based on, the type of project, the complexity of the project, the amount of time it would take them to audit. So it's really dependent on the auditor's level of effort, and they would quote the fees to the project owner.
Okay.
May I elaborate on this?
Sure.
I just wanted to add that since there is the EDGE expert professional credential in addition to the EDGE auditor, there's really two business models, two professionals that want to work with EDGE. If you are an EDGE expert, you can be hired by the project team to support the EDGE certification process, to identify which documents would need to be provided, to collect those documents. So that would be one type of service and one type of fee. And then if you are an EDGE auditor, your role is simply to audit the project documentation and answer perhaps some technical questions and serve as a liaison between GBCI and the project owner. But your role is not to consult the design team on how to achieve EDGE. So that's a different role with a different fee. So there's a lot of opportunity here, both with EDGE expert and EDGE auditor. And Vijaya, please correct me if I'm wrong, but you cannot be the auditor and the EDGE expert on the same project, even if you have those credentials.
Yeah, you're right on that. That would be considered a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Okay. Vijay, I've got one for you. Does the software include the life cycle cost calculation for payback?
Yes, it does include a payback period. I mean, it looks at the incremental costs associated with each measure that you've selected, and then it looks at the impact to the utility costs, and then it does come back with a payback period. All of that is on the top of the software, which the fellow was sharing, in the results bar. So that's why it becomes even easier to sort of make that business case to your clients. As an EDGE expert or a professional, you take EDGE to the client, and they can immediately see, as they select the different measures, what the incremental cost is and what the associated payback period is. So it does look at that analysis.
Okay.
And more information actually on the EDGE methodology, the methodology behind the software, as well as the cost methodology as to where the costs are coming from and how they've been derived. All of that is available there's an EDGE cost model report and there's an EDGE methodology report, both of which are available on the IFC's EDGE website. And you can get to it via our website as well, edge.gbci.org.
Okay. We have two questions around EDGE and other green building rating system certifications. So, what I'll say is each rating system has its own value proposition, and it's designed to meet different needs in the market. For us at GBCI, we certify a few standards, including LEED, which is the preeminent green building standard, and we have other certification systems for sustainable sites, for PEER for electricity grids, TRUE for zero waste, and a number of other rating systems. And our idea is that we offer, we're able to meet the needs, the sustainability needs of any business in the marketplace, no matter what those needs are. For EDGE, the beauty of EDGE is really around the fact that it's this simple, free tool that you can use to quickly create the business case for building green. You just put in the building parameters and select the efficiency measures, and you're able to make a case to the owner saying, okay, it's only going to cost us this much to go green, and the payoff period will be, X months or X years. you know, that really is the beauty of EDGE, and that certification is a faster, simpler process, you know, mainly based on the documentation you already have, such as, you know, cut sheets for the materials that you're using, and of course the, you know, auditor will confirm the documentation, and they'll also would do that site audit to confirm you're actually implementing the things that you said you would in the EDGE software. Okay, we have another question. Does IFC finance EDGE building projects? In some cases, yes, but the majority of EDGE projects pursuing EDGE certification are not receiving any type of financing incentives. They're doing it because, you know, it's the right thing to do, and they're also, you know, getting the marketing benefits, and you know, again, are able to make that business case to, you know, it's worthwhile for them to do it in order to save money in the long run operating that building. Is there a public register of certified EDGE experts and projects per country? Yes, on edgebuildings.com, which is IFC's website, which includes the EDGE software. There's a link on the header at the top right, which says projects, and you can see some of the certified projects. Not all of them are actually listed there because projects need to submit photos and some info in order to be featured there. But that list is growing, and you can search, you know, by building type as well. That website also includes a list of EDGE experts, and it is sorted by country. Again, in the header, look for the experts tab. Okay, Vijay, I'll give you this question. How long is the certification process?
Sorry, it took me a minute to unmute. So the question is, how long is the process to be certified? Yeah, so after the auditor submits to GBCI, so as you know, the process is the project team prepares the documentation, they would submit it to the auditor reviews it, and then submits their recommendation to GBCI. So after the auditor submits to GBCI, it's a 10 business day timeline to you know, complete that round of review. So there are 2 rounds of review. So for each round of review would take about 10 business days after the auditor submits documentation to GBCI. And we also have, you know, recommendation for the auditor to finish their review within 5 business days of receiving the documentation from the team. So it's a fairly fast turnaround for each phase of review.
Yep. And I'll also add, so if the building is just being built or being designed, you would basically repeat that for the preliminary certificate, which is done based on the design, and then the final EDGE certification, which is done after the site audit. If the building is an existing building, or perhaps it was even just built or very close to ending construction, you can decide to skip the preliminary certificate and just go straight to the final EDGE certification, which would be based on a site audit. You would need to submit some documentation for some of the measures because it's not going to be obvious to an auditor, you know, what the specifications are for each item in the building. Okay, we have another question about EDGE in relation to the other rating systems. So again, sorry, I'm looking at the questions. So again, other rating systems have different value propositions and are better for certain types of markets or clients. We don't, see EDGE as a competitive tool. Our mission is really to bring about sustainability for everyone and make sure everyone does something that enhances sustainability. Obviously, green buildings are still a small percentage of the overall market, so we want any tool that we can to help increase this number.
Sure.
Yes.
Can I elaborate on that a little bit?
Yes.
I think from a consultant perspective, I think I understand, this nature of question. The beauty of EDGE is that it was created originally and very much is, relevant to emerging markets. It is the auditor costs, although they vary in the market, are overall reasonable. The certification costs are considerably less than the way that certification costs are calculated, for example, for LEED projects. The categories of environmental assessment that we're looking at energy, we're looking at water, and we're looking at embodied energy and materials. Most other rating tools on the market look at a broader range of categories, which means there are more requirements, more calculations, perhaps even higher baseline percentages that have to be met. So that makes EDGE an affordable, very user-friendly tool for emerging markets. I would say that if your signature Google headquarters is probably going to use, a LEED for their certification system, but basically anyone can use EDGE to certify their building. So so I think that's what I wanted to elaborate on. It's a more user-friendly and more cost-effective tool than the other rating systems on the market that are broadly used in the U.S. and Europe, certainly.
Okay. We have another question. Can EDGE be used in the undergraduate level as a tool that students can use to assess their designs? Sure. We definitely encourage you to have students or and really anybody experiment with the free EDGE software, again at edgebuildings.com. It would be great to have more people use it, test it out, and then use it on actual building projects that go ahead and pursue certification. Okay, we'll give it another few seconds for any other final questions. Okay, I think that may be it. What we are going to do is send everybody out a recording of this webinar tomorrow, and it'll also include another link to register for the Ukraine training. And once we have the registration open for the Bulgaria training, we will also send that out in an email. If you're interested in organizing a local training, whether if you're a member of a GBC or a private company, please just shoot me an email and we are happy to organize that for you. We have one final question. Is there a tutorial available for students? We have, GBCI, we have a free Introduction to EDGE tutorial. It's very similar to the contents of this webinar. It's available on our website at edge.gbci.org. And you'll just click the link that says Learn More About EDGE, and you'll find that. And we also have more in-depth training, including the EDGE Technical Workshop. It's also available online at the same page. Okay, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.